You got into the safety business because you wanted to protect people, but somewhere along the way, the job started controlling your time, your schedule, your priorities, even your income potential. What if the expertise you've built over the years in the field can give you something more? More freedom, more control, more ownership of your future. I'm Sheldon Primus, the author of 7 Steps to Starting a Profitable Safety Consulting Business and the host of the Safety Consultant Podcast, with more than 350 episodes helping safety professionals become consultants and grow their career. Consulting changed my life. In fact, I'm a full-time RVer, and one consulting contract paid for my home I live in today. Now, I help safety professionals build their own consulting practice through bi-weekly coaching calls, accountability, and personal guidance. But this program isn't for everyone. Start with the Consultant Readiness Audit at sheldon.coach.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete Signal Transmission Trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
It's happening, my favorite time of the year. They're shutting it down, say goodbye to Uncle Sam. Don't worry, honey, they'll be back soon. In a week, or maybe less, the clowns will make it work.
Hi, this is Jim from Safety Wars. Before we start the program, I want to make sure everyone understands that we often talk about OSHA and EPA citations, along with some other regulatory actions from other agencies, legal cases, and criminal activity. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Proposed fines are exactly that, and they are often litigated, reduced, or vacated. We use available public records, news accounts, and press releases. We cannot warranty or guarantee the details of any of the stories we share, since we are not directly involved with these stories, at least not most of the time. Enjoy the show.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
How's everybody doing out there? This is Safety Wars for Tuesday, September 30th, 2025, the end of the fiscal year. How's everybody doing out there? Tell you what, there's a lot of anxiety here, so of course we're going to have some fun with it. Try to get folks to calm down. It's the last day of Disaster Preparation Month. And right now, we are being manipulated more than you could ever imagine. Well, what do you mean, Jim? We're being manipulated. Well, we have the government shutdown. Here we had a situation, hey, like the song at the beginning, the clowns will soon be back. I mean, they only had like a year. If you want to count, okay, since January 21st. They only had since January 21st to get their crap together and to do this. But no, here we are. And as we know, blame fixes nothing. And here we have a lot of blame to go around. Blame absolutely fixes nothing. So let's see where this goes. Next couple of days, we're going to have some details here from the New York Times on what this means. So if you are working on an EPA cleanup like I am right now, and doing some Department of Defense or Department of War, whatever we're calling about it, according to my sources, that if it's an active cleanup and if the money has already been allocated, you're going to continue to work. But again, check with your people first. And if you are not, here, let me get that out of the way. I got stuff in the background. I got a comment. Eliminate stuff in the background. Okay, well, we're doing the best we can here. So where were we? Yeah, so only, basically, the way these things go down is only essential workers are going to be out there doing what they need to do. So if you're on an EPA, DOD, or DOW job, and some of the other things, generally speaking, they're all working. However, check. That's all I have to say. Now, disasters. Right? So we think about disasters as being a whole bunch of things. We've got air hazards, water hazards, man-made disasters, hurricanes, weather-related. We got all that stuff. I get it. And no, we could have probably done a better job this month covering things. We've been going at this with all different kinds of crazy stuff going on that we've had to talk about here. This could be another disaster for a lot of people here. Is government shutdown, government angst, Congress and the president not getting their groove note together to get a budget passed under regular rules, and now we go into these like continuing resolutions, which are more of a stopgap than anything else out there. So here we have. Oh, and by the way, how could I almost forget about this? You missed one hell of a program today. What was the program? Signal. Right? So, like I said multiple times here, if you, and then we'll go into other government shutdown here. Now, so you're out there, and you go to like, you're studying in the safety field. Wow. If only, all right, if only I was, there when human organizational performance, right? When human organizational performance was first, right? That was only 15 years ago. Wow, that would have been a great thing. Or maybe Heinrich, had I had an opportunity to interact with Heinrich, I would have been able to grab all different new insights and everything else with that, right? And you look forward and look back, or everyone remembers where they were when John Kennedy was assassinated, for example. Everybody was alive with the moon landing and everything else. This is what this was here with a single conference here. New stuff. I don't even want to say new stuff because Jay Allen and Todd and other people on the network, including me, have been talking about this stuff for a long time. But what happens is, how do you organize it? Can it be organized? What I found out over the years was all that education is organization. A huge chunk. Yeah, you have aptitude, you study. But how do you organize things? How do you make things understandable? So, like only Jay Allen could do, it seems. You have all this stuff out there. You have all this noise. You have this. You have that. You have this here in the ether, out of the ether, in the static, in the background. How do we all make sense of it and organize what we're feeling? and what we're experiencing. And that is what you missed today. That's okay, because he does have a book out there called The Signal Trilogy. And here, let me...
What if everything we thought we knew about...
for it. Hang on. It's a minute and a half here.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete Signal Transmission Trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
So that was the advertisement for the book, right? On there. So, right? It's on Signal Transmission Trilogy. So this was the advertisement for today's event, and I think this, this sums it up pretty well. How does behavior-based safety and HOP, human organizational performance, open the door? Where the construct hides reality, why glitches and drift aren't failures but clues, and how to tune past the static and you hear the signal. Not a webinar, not a slide deck, it's conversation, raw, real, and hopefully life-shifting. Well, we'll see. There were a lot of people on there. I was surprised on there. Sheldon was there, and I was there, Sheldon Primus, me, and some other people asked some questions there. And right, the question I asked was this, it was real simple. We have a lot of money and time and other things invested in behavior-based safety. How do we manage things with all this new stuff? I mean, because the safety industry keeps moving on and on and on, and this is not going to be the flavor of the month. This does not supersede anything. And the answer was real simple. Meet people where they are. Right? No, he talked about this throughout, but this wasn't exactly the answer, but this is what we got from the whole thing in its totality. Meet people where they are, number one, and number two, slowly implement it. It's not like, I have to implement this. Do a slow rollout. Right? Add it on to your own stuff. Maybe it'll supersede it. And remember, there are some workplaces where the old way of doing things works. And you're dealing with, but what it is with anything, and I'll add this. Jay did not say this. I will say this. Behavior-based safety and all this other stuff works wonderful when implemented 100% correctly. But that ain't going to happen. What do you need? You need fully self-actualized people who are not under stress, who are able to plan things out, who aren't going to be adversarial, that aren't going to be psychopathic. And there's a lot of stuff that goes in, a lot of ifs and buts and everything, and qualifiers that go into behavior-based safety versus human organizational performance and now signal theory, where people are not perfect. People make errors. And the design is to try to meet people where they are. And these little glitches and everything that are out there that goes on, the noise in the work area, you need to have, realize that those are things talking to you. Those are things they're signaling you with this. Right? And again, he shared a video, I got to look it up, of bunch of people who were told to do something, and then that was staged, of course, and then a life-threatening situation came in, and everybody just sat there because that's what they were told to do. Do nothing. Don't worry about it. And they were programmed because the incentive was, don't do anything. How many times, and let me close off by saying this in this session, how many times do we get that signal? Don't do anything, Jim. Don't worry about it. Ignore it. Right? If you say anything, we're going to screw you over. If you say anything, you're not going to get that promotion. And you let safety hazards, you let illegal crap go on again and again and again. And you know what happens? People get hurt and everything else. I want to share some other stuff. We're going to go to commercial break before we get to the government shutdown. And what does it mean? What does it mean for the safety industry? Let me set this up.
Safety Wars is streaming now.
SafetyFM.com.
In an unpredictable world, one voice rises above the chaos. Meet Jim Polzo, a seasoned safety expert who's navigated through some of the most dangerous scenarios, from anthrax, explosive cleanups, disasters, and numerous environmental cleanups, and lived to tell the tale. Now he's bringing his wealth of knowledge, insights, and experiences to you through Safety Wars. From workplace hazards to the hidden dangers in your own home, Jim covers it all with his engaging storytelling. Safety Wars isn't just a podcast. It's your guide to a safer world. Join Jim Polzo and become part of the Safety Wars revolution. Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts and videos. Safety Wars. Your safety is our mission.
Have you listened or watched the Safety War show? It does stream live on the radio and on the streamer-emers that we have. So if you have not taken a listen to Jim Polzo and what the hell he's doing every evening with Safety Wars, I would strongly encourage you to take a view or take a listen, whichever option is available for you, and take a listen to what the hell he has going on. It will take some deep dives and some information that you might be interested in.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polzel with Safety Wars.
That's my daddy!
You are listening to Safety Wars.
Tomorrow's Safety Today.
So here we are, back from the break. I wanted to share with you some stuff here. Now, I got involved. I did something bad today. I got involved in an online discussion on LinkedIn. You know, those are very dangerous things that you can get involved in here. Let me pull this up here. All right. So, now oftentimes people who are retired, they have things they could say things that you're never going to get away with any other time. I hate to say this, just the way it is. Okay, let me get this out. All right, and basically what it comes down to is negligent hiring, right, with this. So the EHS, this is from and I'm not going to mention the person who wrote this. The EHS industry is broken and people are dying. I tossed the truth grenade into the unregulated EHS profession and then let the guilty dogs bark and 100 react and nearly 63,000 of them. Then I posted the prequel. A certain organization is not on the ASSP accredited list. 90% of ABET, I forget what that stands for, accredited universities reject the certain organizations' transcripts. Yet 80% of VCSV safety pros launch from this organization, the path of least resistance. Basically, they'll accept anybody is the impression that he gives. I don't know if that's true or not. When I exposed this, the big talkers gave 2 reactions and 1 comment. Suddenly, they had nothing to say. They are afraid their employers will put the puzzle together and begin to understand backing those with such weak credentials is indefensible in court. How do we know these EHS practitioners lack education, knowledge, and experience? Has had a negative industry impact? He goes on to say that our fatality levels are the same, and as I'm drawing an inference, all of our other matrices are the same. If our EHS workforce suddenly got smarter, why aren't fewer people dying? Because too many EHS leaders have feathered nests. The lives depend on it. Then he goes into this. And he quotes another article here. Recruiters and negligent hire. Think about this when hiring a candidate from an unregulated EHS occupation, which is basically everybody here. And he says it's an unregulated occupation. I don't necessarily agree with that. Employers are now being constantly sued for negligent hiring. This means the act of hiring an unfit employee who then proximately directly injures another will render the employer liable. As with misrepresentation, the issue becomes whether the employer knew or should have known about the dangerous propensities of the candidate. That means that's constructive knowledge, right? This is not vicarious liability, it's direct, and yours is too. The victim can name you for negligent consulting. In some states, he must, right? Sue you for negligent consulting. You are an indispensable party. The employer will not forget it paid your 5-figure fee either. Liability for negligent hiring encompasses everything you can imagine and many things you cannot. Statistically, 80% of all resumes contain false information. I don't know where he gets that, but I know a shitload that do, right? I know some real winners out there. That means just by using them, you are exposed. All the victim has to show is that if something falsified had been checked, the injury would not have occurred. I don't know if that's true or not. This is from an attorney. Here's my response to this, and I didn't get into a lot of them, but I did have a response here. Just because you have letters after your name or you have an education from anywhere does not negate the fact that, in my humble opinion, 99% of the time, the safety pros working at companies with fatalities have zero authority to hire, fire, discipline, or manage people in any way. Also, they are not the ones who design, plan, change, or execute the work. The ones who do are responsible for the deaths. But as we know, blame fixes nothing. And I'll add, I didn't put this in here. That's why every employment agreement I have, sometimes I have to go for direct hire because of insurance requirements or other requirements for the job that I can't meet. Every time I take up a consulting job, I make sure the roles are in there. Are they going to prevent me from getting sued? Not all the time. That's what you have insurance for when someone gets hurt. But people rarely ever get hurt on my jobs. It just, knock on wood here. We try to manage the work so that doesn't happen. With that, and if you're a consultant, you better have it on there. Do you have the authority to hire, fire, discipline, or otherwise manage people? And did you design the work? If the answer is no, you're limiting your liability. However, it's you better have it in writing. You could, with that, at least morally, then you have not legally have something, but morally, right? Agreed. In reality, all safety program problems are operational problems manifesting themselves as elevated risk. You can identify an elevated risk before or after the loss. After costs were across the board. There's a much different narrative than most leaders are accustomed to hearing. This was part of what the whole Jay Allen thing was today. Signal theory. Are you incentivized to say something or not say something? What goes on in the background here? What is that noise you're hearing out there in the background? Is it a glitch? Hey, we have a little glitch here. Well, guess what? What's that glitch telling us? Is it telling us anything? Can we fathom what the meaning of that glitch is? All of that goes into signal theory. Are you right? And let's talk about HOP. Are you incentivized to not report things? If there's incentive not to report things, that's a problem. So what do we do about it? We could put together nice PowerPoints. We could have rants on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Truth, Parler, Threads, Blue Sky. We can have it all these rants. But as long as the safety professional does not say anything, thinks that they're educated to know something by taking these exams and getting these letters out to your name, you got another thing coming. You have disaster coming. Think about it. How much of your regular job, doesn't matter what it is in the safety industry, was on that exam that you took, was in that class that you took? For some people, it's a lot. A lot of it. For most people, it isn't. And if it was on that exam, maybe you got one or two questions. That's why if you're an employer, you have to look at this stuff. You have to vet the people. Is the person the right fit? Does the person know anything about what we're doing? Can the person learn? How's that? You'll learn on how to do the job. You create a learning team. Even if it's a one-man learning team, it's a learning team, a learning person. How do I do this? Rather than go from, hey, Jimmy, how do we do this? I've gone to, okay, Jimmy, how do we do this? Well, how would you do it? How do you set up to do that? How do we eliminate errors? How do we eliminate human errors? All that goes into it. So, and let's bring up that New York Times article here, and we'll go, I don't know. Give us a call, 845-269-5772, if you want to work with us. I have a new commercial and promo coming out starting tomorrow on all this stuff. We're going to call it Ask the Safety Professional.
From the front lines of the safety war, it's Safety Wars, with your host, Jim Posel on Safety FM. Get ready to face the harsh reality.
I don't think people understand the true cost of negligence in construction. A suburban Madison contractor with a deadly track record is in hot water again. Already cited for fatal safety violations in 2022, the company was caught exposing workers to deadly fall hazards in February 2024. During a federal inspection, 6 employees were found working 12 feet up without protective gear. OSHA slapped them with 1 willful, 2 repeat, and 5 serious violations, proposing $144,505 in fines. Just 4 months ago, OSHA found similar hazards at another site, leading to more citations. Back in 2022, a worker was crushed by a 1,000-pound wall. The company was cited for 11 violations and has been a deadbeat and hasn't paid any of the penalties. OSHA's Chad Greenwood stated, "The company shows a blatant disregard for worker safety. Stay informed and stay safe. Visit safetywars.com. Listen to us on your favorite podcast platform as Safety Wars."
So here we are. We are back, right? Here.
Come and listen to a story about a man named Jim. Safety's his game and the odds were looking grim. Workplace hazards everywhere, from ladders to machines. He took on the mission to make those places clean. Safety.
All right, so we got music. We got loads of music here. So here we have a situation where it's September 30th, when right now And it's going to be soon to be October 1st, so start a new fiscal year. So this is what I'm going to issue a disclaimer here. If you're on a federally financed project or you're a federal employee, federal contract, you got to check with your people on whether or not how this shutdown, as it looks to be imminent, is going to be dealing with you. So here we go. Article from the New York Times. Here's how a government shutdown works. Federal funding will lapse this week if Congress does not act. Areas across the government will be affected. As the country, article by Karun Devajiran. As the country hurdles toward a shutdown this week, offices across the federal government are scrambling to finalize the contingency plans, knowing that many but not all operations will have to go dark. Shutdown occurs when Congress cannot reach a deal to continue government funding by the time current funding lapses. One will begin at 12:01 a.m. Wednesday if Democrats and Republicans cannot come to an agreement. Right? In some parts of the federal government, there is an immediate impact, but not every federally funded initiative is at the mercy of Congress's budgeting standoffs, and even some that are may be able to rely on cash reserves to get through a brief shutdown. So if the money, I'm interpreting that as if the money has already been allocated. But if the two sides dig in, the consequences would be, very drastic. What shuts down? They're going to shut down in stages. Some of the most visible expected closures are museums and monuments. Those planning a trip to a national park or national mall may find themselves greeted by locked doors, no entry signs, and the shutdown lasts more than a few days. And federal employee workers will see their paychecks stop for the duration of a shutdown, even if they have to stay on the job. Department to department, the impacts vary. The Postal Service, which is self-funded, Social Security and Medicare benefits, which are considered mandatory spending, should keep going. While most federal workers are likely to be furloughed, those designated as accepted, such as active duty troops, air traffic controllers, federal law enforcement officers, stay on the job even though they cannot be paid for that work until after the shutdown is over. Right? And they have a thing here. Is a fuller view of this. And New York Times lists a lot of stuff going on there. Who decides who workers are accepted? Basically, every agency. How long will it last? It all depends, right? So last time it was 35-day ordeal in 2018. Congress passed a law to make back pay for federal employees automatic once the government opens. How long will it last? It depends on how bitterly opposed the two parties are and how willing each side is to dig in for the long haul. One of the things is that went past the House of Representatives, now it's in the Senate, and the Senate, you need 60 votes to vote on closure, which is basically debate's over. Now we're going to go and put it into everybody else, so everybody votes out of it. So you need 60 votes to end the debate, as I understand it, and then it goes into the majority. There. Republicans control both houses of Congress, so they need at least 7 more Senate votes, 5 past procedural hurdles, and reopen the government. All members of their party hang together. In March, they managed to avoid a shutdown, but the political blowback against Democrats who broke rank was severe, motivating, again, incentives, right? The political blowback against Democrats' vote rank was severe, motivating the party to stand firmer this time. Still, as constituents begin to lose pay and access, I'm actually have to congratulate the author here. This is very well balanced here so far. Coverage here, right? So I want to point that out. She's doing a really good job. Not that she needs my affirmation here, but she really is doing a good job here reporting on this. Still, as constituents begin to lose pay and access federal services, the cost-benefit analysis of shutdown for each senator may start to shift. In early 2019, slowdowns at the airport, fueled in part by air traffic controllers and TSA agents calling in sick, helped bring an end to the longest shutdown on record. What happens for the courts? Some are going to be open, some are not. What about government contractors? There's a hybrid situation. So companies, nonprofits, and service providers rely on federal funding. Their funding is at the mercy of the federal government reopening, and they're not covered by the 2019 law guaranteeing back pay. But depending on the disbursement schedule of the federal government's payment to them, they may be able to get through a short shutdown relatively unscathed. The federal government does not have the ability to claw back funds that have already been disbursed to contractors, so programs and positions that have been fully funded before a shutdown will be in the best position to ride out a budgetary storm. Contractors, more closely tethered to the incremental operations of federal government with pay or workspace, will be more directly affected. Contractors who perform public safety and national security functions for the federal government may also be required to pay without work. How does this all end, and what are the long-term impacts? Congress has to pass an appropriations bill to end the shutdown, but that means Republicans and Democrats have to compromise, going on and on. Right? Now, the big, this is right wing and left wing are both saying the same thing here, so I have a tendency to think that it might be true, is that the, what's the word I'm looking for? Both sides of the aisle are now predicting that there's going to be layoffs, possibly. So we'll see how it goes there. All right. Let's get into some more here. I tell you what, let's cut to commercial break before we start the next one. All right.
Safety Wars is streaming now.
SafetyFM.com.
What's the word I'm looking for? Both sides of the aisle are now predicting that there's going to be layoffs, possibly. So we'll see how it goes there. All right. Let's get into some more here. I tell you what, let's cut to commercial break before we start the next one. All right.
Safety Wars is streaming now.
SafetyFM.com.
Safety training old, stale, and hacky. Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces. Is your safety training?
From the front lines of the safety war, it's Safety Wars. With your host, Jim Posel on Safety FM. Get ready to face the harsh reality.
This is gonna blow your mind. There's a new daytime talk show on your local cable access station. What happens when safety, scandal, and heartbreak collide? Welcome to Safety Wars, the talk show. Today's episode is a doozy. Imagine confronting your unsafe supervisor who just happens to be your ex-wife's new hubby. Talk about a powder keg. But wait, there's more. We've got an exclusive interview with a corporate exec who's taken out life insurance policies on his riskiest workers, hoping to cash in on a deadly mishap. Yup, you heard that right. It's a real-life plot twist you can't make up. Tune in as Jim Posel, CSP, our very own Jerry Springer of safety, dives deep into this explosive confrontation. Sparks will fly and secrets will be exposed. Catch the full episode on Safety Wars on YouTube and your favorite podcast platform. Don't miss out on the drama that could save your life. Like and share now, and stay safe, folks.
The safety war has begun. The risks are out there, lurking in every corner of the workplace, threatening our most valuable asset, our people. But we have a plan. Led by Jim Posel, We are the last line of defense in this battle against danger and negligence. We will fight for safety, for compliance, for the right of every worker to return home unscathed. Join us on this journey through the unknown, where vigilance is our weapon and knowledge is our shield. This is Safety Wars, our fight, our duty, our mission. Heard regularly on your favorite podcast platform as Safety Wars, visit us at safetywars.com.
Oh yeah, we're back. Had some audio issues there. We took care of them. Probably didn't notice much. We're getting more and more professional here all the time. All right, so OSHA news, and again, because of the government shutdown, this is one of the things that you're not going to hear from the government too much. They're probably not going to issue any press releases, or anything like that, and their websites are not going to be updated, and you'll have a thing come across the bottom if memory serves you right. No, this webpage is not being updated. This is blah 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 blah. But you can still call us 1-800-321-OSHA with to report any problems like a fatality or a catastrophic incident, or you know the regulatory requirements. I don't need to tell you that. Or maybe you had an LMS system for OSHA 10-hour training where they didn't tell you anything. That's what going back to what we just discussed on the with criticisms of these credentialing programs and universities that aren't accredited, right, and everything. Jim, yes, I took outreach training. I did it with such and such a thing, and it's an LMS system, learning management system. Well, did they tell you about 1-800-321-OSHA? No. Did they tell you about this? No. Did they tell you that you have a right to a safe and healthful workplace free of recognized hazards? No. So, did they tell you about 1910 regulations, 1926, some of the regulatory process? No. Okay, then exactly what did you do when you were there? I don't know. Seems like a fair question, but, a lot of these, I don't know what to tell you. Very frustrating. No, especially if you're a trainer here that does any of this stuff. So, I'm getting a message about this audio again. Let's talk about that. Safety FM. Okay, so yesterday we had a lot of OSHA news yesterday. Here we have Secretary Shabazz Duraimer announces the induction of President Theodore Roosevelt into the Labor Hall of Honor. Okay, we sound fine on the live feed. I don't know what they're talking about. U.S. Department of Labor Secretary Lori Shabazz Duraimer today announced Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States. Also, let's remember he was around during the Progressive era. Will be inducted into the Department's Hall of Honor in recognition of his enduring pro-worker legacy. As we close out Labor Month, I'm honored to announce President Roosevelt's induction into our Hall of Honor, recognizing his record as a true champion of American workers. President Roosevelt understood that labor and business thrive when everyone else comes to the table to work together, a goal he and I share. As we continue celebrating America's 250th birthday, it's only fitting to honor a former president who shared President Trump's goal of putting American workers first. Created in 1988, the Department's Labor Hall of Honor showcases exceptional leaders who have made life-changing contributions to the way Americans work. Their distinctive contributions have elevated working conditions, wages, and overall quality of life of America's hardworking families. Right? So, as part of the nation's 250th birthday celebration, the department is also honoring President Roosevelt's legacy by featuring him on a banner at its Francis Perkins Building headquarters alongside President Trump. Let's see what that looks like. Well, isn't that nice? Right, so you got the pictures right there. Right? Okay. By the way, nobody ever complained when I was reading these press releases when Biden was in. Just FYI. Okay. U.S. Department of Labor issues 4 opinion letters addressing emergency pay, typical family medical leave, Fair Labor Standards Act compliance. Right, so these are official, they're like the letters of interpretation, they're calling them opinion letters, right? Well, opinion letters provide official written interpretations from the division that addresses real-world questions and explain how laws apply to specific factual circumstances presented by individuals or organizations, and may also have a broader interest to those impacted by the issue presented. Right? So the opinion letters, right? 1. Addressing whether a restaurant employer may include front-of-house oyster shuckers in a traditional tips pool with servers whom the employer takes out a tip credit under Section 3M2A of the FLSA. Number 2, addressing whether emergency pay provided firefighters and other employees of the city must be included in the regular rate of pay used to calculate overtime premiums, and if so, how to calculate the regular rate when such pay is included. FLSA 2025-05, addressing whether two entities that are physically connected and whose ownership, management, and operations of your common are jointly and severally liable for all aspects of compliance under FLSA. I know of a company that got into this because they're located on the same street, father owned one, son owned the other, but they shared equipment. So the state of New York linked them together. And guess what? Once they link you together, they're not, I mean, you got to get an attorney for that. Very difficult to get them unlinked together. Took them years to straighten it out. It was not fun. No, because now you have insurance policies with corporate risk to applying, well, this happened here now. This happened here. And now with employees, right? Fair Labor Standards Act. With that, your workers working 60 hours a week, but it's only 30 hours here and 30 hours there. Now you got a problem. That's totally and completely illegal, right? Doing the same thing. U.S. Department of Labor. So this is another one. Dear name withheld. In your letter, you requested guidance on the appropriate method for calculating intermittent or reduced schedule FMLA leave hours when employees work fixed schedules that include mandatory overtime hours. May volunteer for additional hours are not part of the published weekly schedule. And this goes on and on and on. Opinion. It is our opinion that the conversion of the 12-hour work week Family and Medical Leave Act kind of into a 504-hour leave act and time that you describe as in accordance, going on and on. I don't know. Go look it up yourself. I don't get any of this stuff here. So, right. U.S. Department of Labor awards $86 million to 14 states for investment in skills training programs for critical in-demand emerging industries. Oh, let me do I always forget to do the share screen here, right? U.S. Department of Labor, they announced the award of more than $86 million in industry-driven skills training fund grants to 14 states to accelerate innovation, strengthen domestic production, and address critical workforce needs across the country, with more than $20 million of the funding supporting the revitalization of the domestic shipbuilding industry, training workers in welding, marine, electrical, manufacturing, and other skilled trades. This is like a real important thing because we do not have the capacity to build ships anymore, like China and everything else. So they're emphasizing shipbuilding, right? And other things, marine electrical. No, don't think that marine electrical is like hooking up your house. Totally, no. Some crossover, but my understanding is very, very different. For something, but on the other hand, I could be being BS because people lie to safety professionals all the time. So what do we got? We have a whole list of people here, right? Wyoming got $3 million to support advanced manufacturing, construction, domestic mineral production, finance, and insurance. You have Arizona, advanced manufacturing, $5 million. Connecticut, logistics and shipbuilding, among other things. Technical college system in Georgia, $5 million to support advanced manufacturing, construction, and energy. And let me point out, right, all these things here. Now, who would have thought Mississippi shipbuilding, right? Mississippi, huge shipbuilding area. Michigan, obviously. Maine, shipbuilding. Right, so let me point out some stuff for you folks here. It's a national security issue. The shipbuilding, we don't have the capacity. Other countries have more capacity, and Trump is looking to build that up in this country. I guess it's a good thing. U.S. Department of Labor announces 250,000 Brookwood-Sego grants awarded to promote mine safety and health awareness, education, and training. U.S. Department of Labor today announced the award of 250,000 in Brookwood-Sego grant funding to 3 organizations in 3 states, support education and training initiatives that will help identify, prevent unsafe working conditions in and around the nation's mines. Established under the Mine Improvement and New Emergency Response Act of 2006, the grant program honors 25 miners who perished in mine disasters at the Jim Walter Resources Mine in Brookwood, Alabama, and 2001, and Sego Mine in Buckingham, West Virginia on January 2nd, 2006. Now, this ended the right. Not only have all these families dying and losing family members and stress on the family, there was this really the Sego Mine ruined the career of a psychic, believe it or not, that was on Coast to Coast AM, who said, "Oh, they're all alive, blah, 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 blah." And then it turned out that they were not. Right? I remember that. Got thrown off the air. Right, and banned from the Coast to Coast AM, and basically ruined her career. With it, it was one of those things, crazy things that Jim always remembers, and Jim's like the only one that ever remembers this stuff here. But I don't know. This when you hear about the details that mining disasters those two. It's like horrific, and I toured the Sterling mine up in northern New Jersey, old zinc mine that closed in 1986, and you hear some of the stories there and everything. The tour guide, very sad, very sad. Okay, U.S. Department of Labor issues more than $900,000 in penalties to companies after worker drowns in Georgia River. Investigators with the Department's OSHA determined on April 7, 2025, Seminole Equipment Incorporated bridge painters removing scaffold from the southbound lane of I-95 bridge on the Ogeechee River when one worker fell into the river and drowned. The agency concluded that the employer failed to ensure employees use fall protection and life jackets working on the bridge section. Critical piece of our mission is to put American workers first is ensuring they are safe and protected, said Secretary of Labor Lori Chavez de Raymer. No American should go into work fearing they might not make it home at the end of the day. OSHA is taking concrete enforcement action to stop preventable tragedies. 5 willful and 3 serious violations with that. All right, so with that, I don't know, think that they... Boom, boom, boom. All right, so let's see. Will it be in the OSHA establishment search? So let's see what we got. What those are. And of course, I hate these reading things on here. Hide the reader. So we're going to do a find and search. Okay. So they've been there a couple of times as one employer, starting in October, on my birthday, in 2020, October 16th. So let's see what they had then. So they had one citation which was willful. Initial penalty, $95,000. Current penalty, $74,000, and everything else. Each employee on a scaffold, not otherwise specified in paragraphs, blah, 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 more than 10 feet above a lower level, was not protected from falls. So this is likely, I don't know, I have in front of me one of the possible repeat. And here's another one, is record keeping. The employer did not report the inpatient hospitalization to OSHA within 24 hours. Right? On October 5th, 2020. I mean, this stuff adds up. And then, let's see. Ooh, that closes not too quick. Let's go back. And this is, now one thing I'll say, they're not. And then in 2021, they had a visit. 2003, they had a visit. Nothing was issued according to the website. Then on the 20th, they were there. There was a complaint. And then that's when this one here, emphasis was fall, private, right? We'll see what they are once they get in here. No, I'll check back. Very frustrating. The stuff's not in here. One thing I'll say about Biden, he did issue actual citations and tried to shame people. And again, as in accordance with the government policy, right there, the EPA and OSHA have been really promoting themselves. U.S. Secretary of Labor Lori Chavez continued nationwide America at Work, listening to her last week stops in Delaware and Maryland, where she highlighted hands-on workforce training programs that are helping more Americans access successful careers. In the last 35 states I've visited on my America at Work listening tour, I've consistently heard from employers the urgent need for highly skilled workforce to fuel our nation's economic comeback. In Delaware, we're seeing how the working family tax cuts 100% immediate expensing provision is empowering manufacturers like DuPont to invest in the future. Right? So, again, this sounds like the old Clinton thing. No. Invest in America. Invest in America. Right? But with Clinton, it was invest in America and then tax them. But anyway, I digress. U.S. Department of Labor's awards $890,000 for disaster recovery jobs. The U.S. Department of Labor today announced the award of almost $900,000 in grant funding to Texas to support disaster relief jobs and employment training services for residents suffering from the aftermath of severe storms. On July 2nd, heavy rainfall flooding began and continued through July 18th, resulting in widespread severe damage, injury, loss of life to the Alamo region. Right? And the Guadalupe River. Right? Now, let me talk about that for a second, because I was going to... Last week I was on twice. I was supposed to be on 3, but we had, we have family issues that came up right before the broadcast, so... All right. So the camp where all those campers died in the flooding, they're still missing one young woman, 9 years old, 10 years old, something like that, in the river. They haven't found her yet. They're rebuilding that camp, and a lot of people are very pissed off about it. Right? And they're rebuilding it better. Not to put people in flood zone, or maybe having some capacity and resilience there. I tell you, it's a messed up situation. Do we rebuild? Do we not rebuild? And that's what we got here. And I mean, imagine being in that situation there, right? Where you're. Anyway, what else we got here? All right, we're going to play. We're going to play the outro here, and that's where we're going to go here. We'll have a little bit of AI music at the end. Thanks for listening tonight, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow if it's in the cards. So.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
It's happening, my favorite time of the year, and they won't be here for long, but let's enjoy it while we can. You know that Uncle Sam will be back soon, in a week, or maybe less. The clowns will make it work, so come on. The feds are gone.
got into the safety business because you wanted to protect people, but somewhere along the way, the job started controlling your time, your schedule, your priorities, even your income potential. What if the expertise you've built over the years in the field can give you something more? More freedom, more control, more ownership of your future. I'm Sheldon Primus, the author of 7 Steps to Starting a Profitable Safety Consulting Business and the host of the Safety Consultant Podcast, with more than 350 episodes helping safety professionals become consultants and grow their career. Consulting changed my life. In fact, I'm a full-time RVer, and one consulting contract paid for my home I live in today. Now, I help safety professionals build their own consulting practice through bi-weekly coaching calls, accountability, and personal guidance. But this program isn't for everyone. Start with the Consultant Readiness Audit at sheldon.coach.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete Signal Transmission Trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.